Good morning. This is Algebra 2. Oops, just a minute. Just scoot that back. Algebra 2-1, or 2-1, Unit 2-1. This is transforming quadratic functions. The parent function, you want to get this in your notes. The parent function for a quadratic function is f of x equals x squared. The x squared is what we call quadratic. It causes, that squared right there, causes the shape of the graph. And without any other numbers in there, we just call that the parent function, because then when we add numbers, we can see what effect they have on the graph. The graph for this will be a parabola, which is a U shape. Okay? Let's just look a little bit closer at that. When we plug in values, that's how we get the U shape to it, is we plug in values, and -2 squared, or -2 times -2 would be 4. -1 times -1 is 1. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? So when we come over to the graph, we plot these points. And I do want you to get used to how the points go. At the vertex, which is the bottommost point of the U, that's called the vertex. From there, on a parent function, you go over 1, up 1. Over 1 each direction and up 1. That's just how we form the U. Kind of get used to that in your mind. Then you go over 2 and up 4, so over 2. And I have tons of graph paper, and I would definitely prefer that you use graph paper. So make sure this week as you're graphing these, if you don't have a graph to put them on the worksheet, to come grab graph paper. I give it out. Merry Christmas. Okay? So that's the quadratic, that's the parent function. Now here's the cool stuff. We are going to start sliding these around the graph. And you guys will just get so hooked on this because it's so easy to do, and it just makes you feel smart. The number that causes up-down shifts occurs after the parentheses clear out at the end. Okay? Now, there we go. Well, I should do it with a neutral color. The parentheses, in order to have the U shape, this would just be a straight line because that's x to the first power when we have nothing. That's a linear function. You can still write them in this fashion and have it shift left, right, and up, down with the numbers there. But we want to go for the quadratic, the U shape. So you have to have a 2 there. Make sure you do that when you plug them in a program that I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay? Now, you can replace the f of x with y, but this would create a U shape. The h causes it to go left, right. The k causes it to go up, down. If you've been in my class, you may know these. We've done aerobics with them and all sorts of things. So right now, pause the video. I want you to write these down in your notes. Just spread them out. I want you to just draw the graph with the parent function in there. That's what the blue is. And then I want you to write the equation with -5 for that h value. Remember, that is your h from the formula on those graphs, because you're going to fill in where it occurs. And then I want you to write these, and I want you to draw a graph where it's shifted over 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one, 4 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, and then 7 to the right. Okay? You're going to do some little discovery this morning. Then I want to play with the k value. Okay? On the k value, I want you to draw the parent graph and write the equation with a +4 on the k, a -8, and a +5. Then I want you to draw these graphs with the new graph, with the parent graph shifted down 2, up 4, and down 3. And then I want you, in a minute, you're going to go to another program and discover where those are. Just pause the video and get that copied down. last thing I want you to do is I want you to draw a blank graph. You could put in the parent function right here with the vertex at the origin if you would prefer. It might make it easier for you if this is the first time through this. And then write the equation with the 5 and the h value, the 4 and the k. A 1 and a 3, and then a negative 3, it makes it positive, and a 1. Okay? Then I want you to write a blank equations down below and draw a graph where this parabola has been shifted to a vertex of 3, 2, a vertex of negative 2, 4, and a vertex of negative 3, 1. Now, the last thing I want you to do is to finish off this film and then go over to Edpuzzle, or you're in Edpuzzle. Finish off this film, then leave Edpuzzle and go to www.desmos.com calculator. And I want you to enter the equations that you now have in your notes from those templates, and I want you to study the patterns. Tomorrow in class, I want you to be able to explain what happens when you plug in a negative h. Now, when you plug in a negative h, because there's a negative in the formula, it will become x plus h, but I want you to explain which direction the graph goes with that. When you plug in a positive h, it remains as x minus h. I want you to explain which way the graph goes. Then I want you to be able to explain which way the k causes the graph to go. If you've been in my class before and you feel confident in this, you do not need to go to Desmos. Go ahead and fill out those templates, have me check it, and I will approve it or not. Desmos is a very quick just calculator. You're just going to plug things in. When you go in there, I would just put the y equals on the graph and see where it goes. I would suggest on your very first graph to have y equals x squared. And then on the next graph, it'll be in a different color, do some of the transformations. You could do an entire set of those templates in one little grid there to see what all they do. Okay? Have a good time on that program.